Hey guys, Mike Hedlesky here again, doing some Q&A stuff. Sorry I've been kind of slacking. I know I put out 2 videos last week. This will be 1 video for this week. I am in the process of moving, and that is taking away all of my free time. So I'm basically trying to figure out how to do this shit on my own. And, we take all these stupid classes in college and stuff that mean absolutely nothing, and a nice semester on how to apply for a loan or to own your own things and be a grown-up would be nice. But I guess that 1 semester of forced foreign language where most of you assholes probably took a Latin or something like that, I don't know, I guess that was more important than learning to actually be a grown-up. But what do I know? Anyway, so that's why I've been slacking on these. So let's get right to it. Peter asks, Mike, question for you on the squat. You're tall, I think, right? If so, when you squat, do you break at the knees first and then sit back, or hips first and then just set back? Okay. Here is the X Factor magic bullet for figuring out exactly how you should squat. Whatever allows you to lift the most weight possible. So the internet has really fucked a lot of things up, especially with stuff like this. You can go online, you can read forums and articles where it's basically people who have they've mastered their own ability to describe their squat technique in a trillion different ways. Like, I did my high bar Olympic shoe, no belt, close stance, arms wide squat today, and I hit a new PR. But it's a little different than the wide stance, knees in, back out, elbows up. I don't know. Well, whatever. Especially as it pertains to powerlifting and any strength sport, technique is whatever scores, whatever allows you to lift the most weight comfortably. I mean, there's a certain, paradigm, I guess it should be followed when squatting. It's always load your hips first. Always load your hips first, for sure. Make sure you're not up on your toes, you're back on your heels, chest up. Big air, tight abdomen, stuff like that. I mean, that's all just across the board normal stuff. I mean, you look at really good squatters from any facet of any strength sport. I mean, there's Olympic weightlifters squatting 700-800 pounds with their feet pretty much touching and their knees are shooting out over their toes and stuff. I mean, whatever allows you to do the most often and stay the freshest. So, I mean, if you find yourself kind of leaning a little forward, up on your toes too much, and your knees hurt all the time, maybe you should try sitting back a little bit more. Or, maybe if you're sitting back too much, you get some weird pain in your hips. Maybe you have some weird, hip joint articulation that's making it so you can't sit back like that. Maybe you're more of a straight drop down. It's trial and error, and there's no wrong answer. Just if you can take your style of squatting from point A and do more at point B and not be hurt, that's the correct way to do it. That's my personal opinion. That's not very scientific explanation. Like, I could have pulled out a sheet of paper and drawn up some force vectors or something like that, but that would be stupid and a waste of time, and every other asshole on earth does that. So don't overthink it. Whatever allows you to do the most, the least amount of pain, staying the freshest you possibly can. Hopefully that answered your question. I know I got a little long-winded on that one. Jeff asks, would you ever compete in a non-USAPL or IPF powerlifting meet, assuming you could continue to compete in the USAPL? Why or why not? What do you think about the USAPL's exclusive stance against other federations, and what would you change about it or not to help bring more people to powerlifting in general? Okay, this is kind of a tricky question, because I have competed in other federations and stuff. For those of you that don't know, the IPF, the International Powerlifting Federation, has a lot of, touchy rules about competing other places. It's basically just kind of encompasses any kind of national or international competition that is not an IPF sanctioned event, because they're trying to make world and national championships like a legitimate thing. You can go do whatever local meet you want to for the most part. There's a couple of stipulations for stuff like that, but any kind of competition you do where someone from another country comes in, or you can technically be a national champion, it gets a little touchy, and they try to be, kind of exclusive. They only want their national and world championships to mean something, which is a good thing and a bad thing, I think. Their exclusive stance on other federations, I understand they're trying to make it legitimate. That's why they change all the weight classes around, which really screwed me over, but I'm getting used to it now. I had to drop a bunch of weight. No big deal, just took a couple months to adjust. But yeah, I mean, I've done other meets outside of the USAPL. That the Night of the Living Dead meet that they hold in Elizabethton, Tennessee every year. That was awesome. That's honest to God one of the funnest competitions I've ever been to. There's heavy metal blasting. There's a fog machine going. I got to hang out with Andy Bolton all day, and he's kind of strong, I guess. So that was pretty sweet. The last time I went to that one. But yeah, that was right before all the rule changes and everything like that. So I mean, it'd be nice. I think there's more competition in the USAPL, especially from a drug-tested point of view. But still, I mean, it would be pretty cool. I'd like to go do like the Raw Unity meet or something like that at some point. But then that would definitely bar me from any competition in the IPF, USAPL. I just really like doing the meets at the Arnold Sports Festival. That's a really big one. They hold a couple of different events there, and I like going to actual legitimate world championships. So I would like to continue doing that as well. And I mean, if it's me cutting out some of the fun factor I could be having doing this, then that's fine with me, as long as I get to go to larger stages and compete against more and more people from other countries. So I mean, it's literally the best in the world, instead of just some dickhead having his Pennsylvania World Championships where it's like 7 other guys he knows from Pennsylvania competing, and that's about it. But so yeah. So I guess that's kind of my answer. If I would change something about it, I mean, I wish they would be a little bit more lenient on stuff like that, because like I said, I'd love to go back and do the Night of the Living Dead. I'd love to try out an SPF meet. I might try a local one here at some point, just to get in some multiply stuff and just help do my part to ruin the sport a little bit harder than it already has been. But yeah. So I guess that's my answer for that one. Just, I don't know. Wish they were a little bit more lenient. I'd love to go compete other places, support some other people in the sport, but rules are rules. They're there for a reason, which is a good thing and a bad thing, I guess. Dustin Renner, my buddy Dustin Renner, asked, I always feel that I've got a decent warm-up for both upper and lower days, but I would like to improve. Currently, my lower warm-up is roll my IT bands, ad and abductors, glutes and piriformis, fire hydrants, hip stretch, hassock squat. Basically a combo of Agile 8 and some K-Star stuff. Upper body is just LTYs and Ws and a lot of bar reps. Thoughts? I mean, if you are feeling good when you're doing all that stuff, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm a big fan of rolling. I'm a big fan of lots of movement prep stuff. If you wanted to get a little bit more into it, do some kind of aerobic something. Like it can be 10 minutes on a rower, like something stupid. Most of the time people can spare 10 minutes in the beginning. If you train with other guys, usually, I mean, you can just cut out 10 minutes of bullshitting when everybody else gets there, and then just hop on a rower, spin bike, something low impact. You're a big dude too, Dustin. So anything you can do that's not jogging would be good. Just anything, and then hop into that stuff. But again, if you're feeling good, making progress, nothing's too tight or hurting you or anything. I mean, just stick with what you're doing. Seriously, if you feel like you need to add a little bit more for one reason or another, then just that would be my suggestion. Just some sort of aerobic stuff right in the beginning. Do some of that movement stuff, and maybe just try something explosive right before you jump into your main movement, like some kind of jump or throw, depending on whether it's upper or lower body. Just nothing too high volume or anything. Just kind of get your body thinking in the right direction of moving fast and working hard. He has a second part of his question here. I've really been into Woodford Reserve lately and find it better than Makers, but not 46. Any quality you've been drinking? Man. Just when I thought I liked you, Dustin. Woodford Reserve, that's definitely a viable option, say in like an end of the world kind of scenario, and that's the only thing left. And like you have to, it's either, eat people or drink Woodford Reserve. I think then it's okay. Other than that, and I agree with you. Makers 46 is definitely not the best bourbon I've ever had. but it's still better than filling your mouth with dirt and then like sucking on it and swallowing it, which is pretty much what Woodford Reserve feels like. So I would strongly suggest, I don't know, getting some class or something. So hopefully that answers that question. I'll do two more. I'll get two more done on here today. Mason asks, what is your recovery protocol? When you're going as hard as you have been with this daily undulating periodization, I'm sure you have put effort into recovery, other than bourbon, of course. 2 bourbon questions in a row, all right. So this is something I've personally been neglecting, but from a, I guess, theoretical standpoint, assuming I would have the time to get all of this done, I've sat down and written down like a recovery protocol. The biggest thing is just some kind of aerobic or conditioning stuff immediately after a training session. I think that makes more of a difference than all the hydrotherapy in the world, all the extra stretching sessions and stuff like that. I mean, getting your body to kind of drop back to that normal, that, I mean, we're aerobic all the time. Like we are aerobic when we're asleep, when we're walking around, when we're working, when we're eating. The only time we're anaerobic, hopefully, assuming you don't have some horrific metabolic disease going on that you don't know about, is when we are training, when we're doing the actual training and when we're doing conditioning and stuff like that. So the faster you can make that transition from super hyped up, sympathetic, dominant, going like balls to the walls, like murder mode, switch back to normal, aerobic, parasympathetic, chilling out, ready to eat some stuff mode. It's that's definitely the best thing you can do immediately to just improve recovery across the board. As far as extra stuff, I've mentioned a little bit. I like to get in some kind of hydrotherapy, whether it's a contrast shower. That's the easiest thing to do, so that's usually what it is. My contrast shower is usually somewhere around like a minute hot, 20 seconds cold, usually for about 15 or 20 minutes. And then from there, anything you can do that's a little bit more hardcore, like salt baths, stuff like that, like a salt bath to an ice bath contrast, like a hot bath to a cold bath, or just an ice bath, just hop in an ice bath for 20 minutes. I know some people suggest it, some people don't. Me personally, I feel like the only reason I'm still alive is because of bathtubs full of ice and water. So that's just my opinion. It works great. Another thing, just if you want to add in some extra work, this is suggested all over the place for extra workouts, working on lagging muscle groups and stuff like that. I'll do that every once in a while. Just go into the gym, just go through my normal warm-up, like roll some stuff, run around, move around a little bit, start sweating, and then basically just go through a couple hundred reps of different exercises. Mostly, not really any compound stuff, but just stuff working on like typical weaknesses for power lifters, I guess, like hamstrings, upper back, hip stability, stuff like that. Stuff everybody sucks at. But yeah, a good recommendation to follow for something like that, though, if you're going to go do an extra workout, pick a body part you want to work on. Only pick a body part that doesn't hurt. That is key. Like, I know, save that for your actual workouts and your movement prep stuff, but while you're warming up for your training session, odds are something hurts because you're overusing the shit out of it, because something on the other side of your body is weak somewhere. So if you're going to do those extra workouts, make sure it's only hammering the shit out of the places that feel good. That is key to that. That took me a long time to figure that stuff out, because everybody recommends, you get some blood flow to something, it's going to help healing, unless it's a fucking overuse injury. So how is more work going to make that feel better? But anyway, again, common sense. I don't know. I'm an asshole, I guess. Next question. Shane asks, how many tissue papers didn't you put in your pants in cover photo? Man, some of these are interesting. Oh, okay. So Shane is asking about my Facebook cover photo, which is a picture of me. Let me double check. Yep, it is a picture of me walking across the stage at the Arnold. I have a mohawk shaved into my head, big untrimmed beard. I'm in my blue deadlift suit, Max DL from Inzer. It's a very nice suit, very, very tight in certain places. So I'm striding across the stage in some sort of like, does cardio actually works out filter, because I don't look like that the other 99% of my life. So I'm walking, and it appears there is a gigantic bulge, I think he's asking about, coming out of a certain place in my singlet. And the answer was I shoved a troll doll down there right before I went and did my last attempt. So that's what that was. I'm just kidding. Shane, you're gross. Nick asks, I'll do one more question. Nick asks, what is your stance on bands and chains for raw lifters? I kind of touched on that on another one, I think, in the first video, I think it was. I think it can, as if you're using this stuff, if you can put together an explanation for why you're using it, and it makes sense to you, and it makes sense to everyone else you're talking to, then there you go. You're doing something right. I mean, you just don't forget, the point of this sport, the point of training, is to perform in a competition, not to be like the most fucking awesome guy at training. So you don't want to win training, you want to win fucking medals. So if using bands and chains helps you do that, it helped me tremendously when I first started. I think I got really, really strong, especially my deadlift, using bands, chains, all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, if that's directly transferring to your competition lifts, and they are going up, and you're doing better from meet to meet, then use it. If it doesn't help you, drop it. I mean, I know it looks cool. It certainly does. It's cool when chains are swinging around and making a lot of noise and stuff, when you're scaring the shit out of everybody else in the gym. But if you don't have a good explanation for it, and you're not getting stronger, then you look like an asshole. So that's my take on it anyway. All right, I'm done with these for today. I'll get this video posted. I've got to make some food and head to my next job. I just had some time to kill. Let me know what you think. Hopefully some of this stuff was interesting or helpful in some way. If not, well, sorry for wasting 20 minutes of your fucking day. Have a good one. See you all later.